Hi guys, so this video is walking you guys through your first essay. And you guys have read a number of different experiences from early settlers and kind of seen how different accounts start formulating this idea of a collective American identity. So what I want you to do is choose one of the authors and the work that you read in this unit and develop a written analysis around the work as a piece of literature. So you can choose more than one work if you like, if it's, say, poetry. So you could choose 2 Anne Bradstreet poems if you want. But I would suggest trying to keep it as narrow as possible. So typically one work you should be able to write more than enough about. But you're going to look at that work as a piece of literature. So you're going to examine things like syntax or imagery or metaphors, motifs, themes, all the things that you typically look at in a literary analysis essay. And then secondarily, I want you to kind of look at how does that work reflect either the biographical elements of the author or the cultural history, or how does it have a larger historical impact? So for example, you're going to be doing kind of what you see me doing in the lectures, which is where we're analyzing the literature primarily and keeping the focus on the text, but secondarily looking at why does this piece of literature matter in the larger historical context. So why does it matter that we look at something like Columbus's account of the Native Americans versus De Vaca? Why does it matter that we read poetry from the first female transatlantic poet? Why does it matter that we read Native American texts? So I want you to kind of think about that as your secondary focus, but your primary focus here is to focus on the text. So make sure that you're analyzing it as a piece of literature, looking at things like characterization and symbolism and, like I said, imagery or themes as the primary focus. Don't let this become a biography essay or a history essay. You don't want that to be the focus. So as you start reading or analyzing these texts, think about why they matter. Why does it matter that we read, De Vaca's accounts from a Christian perspective against the Christian aggressors? Why is that significant in terms of the larger historical impact? So think about a few questions you can kind of think about. How does the author or work influence social, political, or economic change in America? How does the author fit in or not fit in with this new quote-unquote American identity? How does the author or work help shape the new American ideal? And then how do they approach certain subject matter? So for example, if you're looking at Columbus, you might look at his choice of syntax and his focus on the word I. That's very important in terms of how the character is developed of the narrator. Or how does the work achieve a particular social or political goal or message? I might go back to something like the Anne Bradstreet's poetry, where she's giving a very intimate view of family life within the new Puritan culture. Why is that significant? And then how is all of this kind of historically situated? So why does it matter that we have John Smith's early texts on the early colonies? Why is that important? So you guys need to include at least one research resource in your work. This can be an internet source as long as it's credible. Make sure you cite it correctly and include it in the bibliography. So for example, you could use PBS, you could use history.com, biography.com. There's a lot of good choices. As you write this, make sure that you have a clear thesis in your introduction paragraph and main ideas with good, solid evidence from the texts and from your outside source. So this means that you pull specific quotes from the text and from your outside source to support your ideas. So if you tell me that it's important that syntax is a significant contributor to the tone in Columbus's letters, you're going to pull specific quotes which show me that syntax. If you say he has a lot of focus on the word I versus you of the Native Americans, pull quotes that show me that. Use specific words, phrases, or passages to support your claims, and then expand on that with your own analysis. So your essay needs to be 2 to 3 pages in length, and it's due by Sunday, September 15th at 11:59 p.m. So that means you have to go to the bottom of the second page at least. If you go less, it'll have points taken off. Proper MLA formatting is required. If you need a refresher, go back to week 1. Remember that everything is checked for plagiarism through SafeAssign. So you guys are going to be graded on making sure you have good, close analysis of the literary work and its major ideas, primarily. So again, that's keeping the focus on analyzing the text itself as a piece of literature, and then secondarily incorporating elements around the identity or the historical context. Good concrete evidence, again in the form of quotes, to support your claim from both the primary and the secondary sources. Proper number of sources, so 1 at least. Proper page length, MLA, citations, and a fully developed essay structure, which means a good introduction with a hook and a thesis, clear main ideas with evidence, and a conclusion. I did want to note that you're more than welcome to go over. You can always go over 3 pages. You just can't go under 2. Helpful ideas in writing the essay, things to think about as you're writing your literary analysis. Think about things like characterization. Think about archetypes, protagonists, antagonists, development. Are they flat? Are they dynamic? Think about literary devices like personification or flashbacks or foreshadowing or irony. Think about structure. Do they follow a dramatic arc? Do they have a rising action, a climax, a falling action, a denouement? Does it have a point of view, a narrator? What is that? Think about literary concepts like theme, symbol, motif, allusions. And then lastly, secondarily, think about the historical context. So think about the author's identity. Why does it matter that we read the author's identity within this work? Why does it matter about the historical events surrounding the text? How do the social, ethical, or moral issues of the time, how are they reflected in the text? That sort of thing. So there is a lot that you can talk about. The choice of focus and work and author is up to you. Again, it just needs to be an author and a work read in this unit. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to offer ideas or advice. But essentially, this is up to you guys. I want you to write about what you want to write about, what you find most interesting, and it should be a really good essay. Thanks, guys.